up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for joining in. Wasn't really sure how to start off this video because I have some bad news to drop out to you guys, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to start off with the bad news or if I wanted to end it with the bad news. And I just decided, to just treat it like a band-aid, rip it off, and get it out of the way, and then I get to the content. If you guys haven't noticed, that I've been able to dedicate quite a bit of time to the channel recently, which is awesome and amazing because it's what I would really love to do. There's a reason for that. The reason for that is because about 6-7 weeks ago, the company I was working for, they downsized and they let me go. I tried enrolling with the unemployment, online, and I was getting ran in circles with the whole online process. It was getting frustrating. I had enough money in my account, to take care of all my bills for the month, so I kind of took it as a sign from the other side that to try to focus on the channel like I've always wanted to, because the opportunity is here and the now, and to just work on pulling in side work to pay my bills and keep focusing on all this content for you guys. But unfortunately, I live in reality, and this channel is costing money. The side work isn't coming in like I was expecting it to, and I'm going to be forced to have to go to unemployment, enroll in the unemployment. Hopefully they'll take care of me for a moment, and then I'm going to have to look for a job. And unfortunately, the bad news about me having to get a job means that the content for the channel is going to slow down significantly, because I won't be able to dedicate, all my time to the channel like I really want to. But the channel costs money, it's not making me money, and I got bills to pay. So sadly, the content is going to end up slowing, quite a bit, probably pretty soon. Once I get a job, it'll be good, for being able to afford parts for the build and for all the content, but it's going to be a slow process. And enough, with the bad news. Let's jump into the actual content. I would like to keep working on the dash and get that thing finished and just out of the way, but I've ran out of materials to keep focusing on that. I don't have a flocking kit. I don't have all the switches I need to add into it, and I don't have what I need to repair all the cracks in the vinyl. So I'm just going to have to work with whatever parts and stuff that we have available to us to keep the content going. We got the car moved over here into the work area. I've got it backed in here, and figured that I'm going to just try to keep this more organized, and I'll work my way from the back end of the car and slowly work, towards everything we need to do in the front, because I have a lot more stuff I can do back here to keep the camera rolling, especially since we got the trunk organizer from the U-Pull yard that actually gave me the ability to put the battery where I wanted to actually locate the battery, because I now have a compartment to cover the battery. So I went ahead, made a battery tray to hold our battery down. I already got the spots marked and drilled out where I want to have the battery sit and be held in place. I just need to clean everything up and get some nuts welded into a few of these holes, so that way we can get this thing bolted down into the car to be able to hold our battery. And then we'll work on doing some grounding and stuff back here. I'm going to have to get the cargo organizer back out of the trunk in order to get in here to do some cleaning up on the metal and to do some welding. So I'm going to get the cargo cover removed, and then we'll work on doing the battery relocation on the car. Alright, pretty much got the cargo organizer taken out, and I got my holes drilled out a little bit larger. Got the nuts to fit into the holes. Those are the ones I'm going to be welding in. I can just take them back out. I'm going to vacuum out all the crap here out of the trunk, and I got to pull out the Dremel so I can get this all down to a bare metal, and at least over here and here, so that I can weld those nuts in place and bolt our battery tray down into the trunk. They're not the prettiest of welds because I can't see what I'm doing in the dark, but I've got them at least, held into place for now. They're not going anywhere. And during the daylight, I'll just take the grinder to it and I'll clean it up a little bit and throw a couple more tacks on it, and then that will be good to go. But for now, it's good enough for us to move on to the next step. Now that I can see what I'm doing, I've got my welds cleaned up, threw a couple extra little tack welds on those. They still don't look fantastic, but those aren't going anywhere, and nobody's ever really going to see it anyways. So next we're going to be working on adding a few spots to throw some ground cables for our battery. We'll go ahead and use the spare tire hold down, threaded hole for one of our ground cable hookups. And I'm just going to throw one on each side here. I'll drill a hole and throw a 12mm nut in here and here so we can attach our ground cables. And while we're at it with the welder, I went ahead and marked up the spots where our cargo organizer is supposed to bolt down into the chassis, and we'll drill out those spots as well. Throw in some 10mm nuts so that we can get everything in this trunk secured into place and be pretty legit. Well, once again, it's not the prettiest looking, but it's definitely going to work. Got the 3 that we needed to add to this side is done. Now I just got to replicate the same thing onto this side, and then possibly we'll make some battery cables after this. I'm all finished up. I've got everything that I needed to drill and add back here is now finished. Now it's just time for me to go get the shop vac out so I can vacuum everything out of here, get it all cleaned up, and get the battery tray painted up before we actually bolt that down here into the trunk. Well, I can't find my black paint, so looks like we're just going to go ahead and paint this purple. Match everything else that she's going to be doing purple in her car anyways. Alright, let's go ahead and let that dry before we flip it over and paint the top side of it. That looks a lot better now that it's all vacuumed out. It still needs a good scrub down because it's still dirty in here, but this is more presentable for you guys. I'm probably going to shoot a little bit of primer, over all the bare metal spots, where I did all my welding to prevent some corrosion, from happening. I'll probably have to take some sandpaper and clean, the paint back off of where I'm actually going to attach the grounds to. But we'll protect everything that we possibly can. And let's just see how this battery tray fits in here. Turned out pretty decent looking back here. I actually like it. I know she's smiling from above, giving us the thumbs up on what we've got going on back here. I think I'm going to get the battery set down here on the tray. That way you guys can see the battery sitting on here. Then I'll go inside and I'll grab our cable and lug connectors and stuff, and we'll go ahead and start making our negative cable that's going to go to the battery back here. I built the battery hold down for a size group 24 battery, which is what I have here. This isn't the one that we're going to be using for the car. It's a dead one. This is one I had that I could use for mock-up. I believe our car actually uses the 24F, which has the positive on this side of the battery and the negative on this side. This one here is a just 24, which has our positive over here and our negative over here. I'm just going to have to remember that for when I get batteries for this car, to make sure that I stick with the 24, not the 24F, because I'm going to be making all our cables according to how our battery terminals are sitting here right now. Alright, I got my roll of 4-gauge black power wire that I'm going to be using for the grounding cables. And I got my whole electrical kit out here that has all my battery terminals and connectors and lugs and all the fun stuff. I'll be using our 4-gauge by 8mm hole battery lugs for all the cables. We got all our standard terminal connectors and heat shrink and stuff. Start out, by stripping a little bit of the end off our cable. We will then put our lug onto the cable. I will use a chisel and a hammer to attach to the cable, and then I will be slipping some heat shrink over it to cover up our lug and make it look nice and clean. Grounding is now all complete. That's all the wiring I'm going to be doing for the battery at the moment. We need to get the engine bay painted and a few other things wired up throughout the car before I do anything with the positive cables throughout the vehicle. At this point, all I have left to do is to make some kind of a strap to hold the battery down to our new battery hold down. Then get the cargo organizer back in the trunk. I'm just going to try to keep it, plain and simple for the battery hold down strap. Nothing too extravagant. I've got an ear tab on both sides of our battery hold down with a hole on each end to accept the J-hook bolts to hold the strap to the battery. And I found a piece of flat strap that is actually the length that I'm going to need it to be for it to work out for us. So all I need to do is get my J-hooks, get a hole drilled into each end of the strap. I'll probably round out the corners on the grinder just to make it a little bit nicer looking. Maybe paint it purple to match the battery tray down below. Then we will bolt this thing down so you guys can take a look at it and get the cargo organizer bolted back into the car, and then we'll be calling it a night. That is going to do it for tonight, everybody. The battery has been relocated to the trunk, all the grounding is now finished, and our organizer is secured, and I am really happy with the way that everything is turning out so far. Thank you guys for being a part of this channel. If you're new here and you want to follow the build, please hit that red subscribe button below. And for everybody else, you know the drill. like, share, comment on these videos to keep this channel in the algorithm and help this channel grow. Until next time, peace out.